And welcome into the MLB Hot Stove Daily here at the Upside Sports Network. My name is Michael. Appreciate you guys taking the time out and joining us late on a Friday evening. Once again, we tried to wait for the last game to finally be over, but we are in extra innings right now. I'll check the score here in just a minute. That game might have finally gone final there between the Dodgers and Tigers. But lots of headlines around Major League Baseball. So big ones we're paying attention to right now. Rafi Devers and the Boston Red Sox, the saga continues. What is going to happen with his position? What's going to happen with his availability as far as defensively in the field? How does his bat turn around? The slow start that he's gotten off to, is this a sign of things to come? Jack Leiter goes out there and gives perhaps his best start of his Major League Baseball career. Gets the win in a 5-inning masterpiece for him. Masterpiece being how poor it's been for him at times at the Major League level. But it's nice to see him finally get that confidence at the Major League level that he can compete and do it at a high level. You'd like to see him be able to limit a few more of those hits, be able to eliminate some of the inconsistencies in location that he struggled with late in his outing. But a nice start to his season. David Bednar, the closer for the Pittsburgh Pirates, struggled once again tonight. Gave up 1 run in last game, gave up 2 runs tonight. He was still able to lock it down and get the save. But signs of things to come here for the Pirates. They already are going to be down without Jared Jones for a while now. Bednar having struggles in the 9th inning right now leaves a lot of question marks around that pitching staff, and that's really the only fortifying thing about this team is how well this team can pitch, both in the rotation and in the bullpen. And if you're missing some arms to start the season in that rotation, and now your back end is starting to falter here, could be a sign of things to come there in Pittsburgh. All right, appreciate you guys joining us. Welcome in Holly, Mark, Heel. Appreciate you joining us. Lighter up, absolutely. Lighter looked good today. Jays got the win. I did see that. A nice bounce-back performance by your Toronto Blue Jays there. Astros play close games with the Mets, and Rangers even the series with the Red Sox. Wilyer Abreu is officially banned from Texas. I think he solidified that last year's great rookie season for him was not a fluke. I'm surprised that they actually still had him hitting so low in the lineup. Sure, you don't want to base your position in the lineup based off of one game in the to start the season, but he was knocking the cover off the baseball yesterday. He was the reason why they won. I think he was 3 for 3 with a walk, 4 RBIs, 3 runs scored. He was fantastic yesterday, and then reached base safely in the first 3 times he got on, came up to bat today, and then finally retired late in the game there. Holly, it's 5-3, bottom of the 10th. Let's see if the Tigers hold on. We shall see with the ghost runner, if you will, over at second base. But appreciate you guys joining us this evening. Be sure to hit that thumbs up on the video. Means a lot to us if you wouldn't mind going ahead and doing so. Hitting that thumbs up goes a long way to helping out our channel. I know some of you have sent super chats in the past. I do appreciate that. But you don't have to do that. I appreciate it. But if you don't want to support it that way, just hitting that thumbs up is really all I ask. It really does go a long way to helping us out. Interacting with the chat, saying hi, those help as well. So if you're having a good time, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join our wonderful community here at the Upside. Follow us on X at Upside Ascend and on Facebook at Upside Sports Network. Now, we haven't seen any major injuries so far to begin the season. We did get the contract extension for the Diamondbacks, extending Brandon Pfaadt to a 5-year, I believe, $32 million deal. I think I might be off on the numbers on that one, but let me double check that real quick here. I want to say it was 32 mil. $45 guaranteed with the current deal he's on. Okay. So goes through 32. That's what I was thinking. Okay. Still a good deal there for the Diamondbacks, who had a rough start to the season yesterday with Zach Gallen, but getting this extension done there with probably their best young starting pitcher in their system, having cost certainty, good thing for them. We also got updates on the Toronto Blue Jays, extending an offer once again to Vlad Guerrero Jr. There is some reason for optimism based on some reporting out there. There's some reason for doubt based on other reports, but we'll see what ultimately happens. Josh Lowe injured his oblique again. That's not good. Tired of seeing all these oblique injuries early in the season. But back to our top story. I wanted to get into this Rafi Devers situation there with Boston. Before the game, Alex Cora was asked, if Bregman needs a day off, is Devers going to be the guy that fills in over there at third base since he held down the position for years there before? Alex Cora flatly said, no, that will not be happening. They have other options that they will utilize before they use Devers over there at third base. Now, I'm sure if there's an injury, if there's some type of situation that requires them to utilize Devers at third base, I'm sure in a pinch they would do so. But it sounds like they're being very firm in their desire not to have him play in the field. Tells you what you think about, or tells you, what they're thinking internally about his defense. I think if he was able to at least be a league average defense, it wouldn't be so roundly rejected by this Red Sox organization. There is zero, and I mean zero, wiggle room in what Alex Cora said in that press scrum before the game. And then you see how he's gotten off to a slow start. I'm wondering if not playing in the field is having an effect on his preparation for the game and his approach at the plate. Does he feel like he has to press a little bit more because he isn't getting giving enough to his team defensively? Is he pressing a little bit more because of his confrontation internally over whether he's going to play third base or not? All these things are around this organization that they don't really have to deal with before they signed Alex Bregman, but they invited it by getting the signing done. Now, understandably, Devers is a very proud baseball player. He thinks he's the best option for third base on the field for the Boston Red Sox. But the proof is in the pudding, my friend. Numbers say you're a terrible third baseman. Devers, negative 29 defensive runs saved, I believe. Meanwhile, Alex Bregman, a plus 21 Gold Glove caliber third baseman. Obviously, Bregman should be the third baseman based on defense. Devers, a great power bat, but if he's relegated to a DH role, that contract that you signed him to is an absolute albatross. Since when do we sign DHs to a $300 million deal? That just doesn't happen in this sport. And if you're a one-dimensional player, sure, you got Shohei Ohtani, who is a one-dimensional player offensively. But oh, by the way, he's also going to be your number 1 or 2 starter based on how your rotation ultimately finishes out with the rest of the league. But Ohtani, generational talent, possibly the best player we've ever seen do it both offensively and on the mound. I'd say he's done it better already than what Babe Ruth has done, especially considering the day and age we live in now. Now, of course, he's got to do it for a lot longer time, in my opinion. Injuries have played a factor on his career, but he is that good of a player. But getting back to the original point here, if Devers is going to be a one-way player, no defense, all DH, and his production takes a little bit of a dip because he's not contributing or staying engaged in the game like he used to when he was playing in the field, tells me that this thing could really go south on the Red Sox very, very quickly if they don't handle this correctly. So let's say, fast forward 2 weeks here. Devers has still struggled. He's hitting, 4 for his last 55 at-bats. He's struck out something in the neighborhood of like 20 to 25 times, which based off of his first 2 games here, could very well be the case. Do the thoughts start to creep into the mind of Devers that, hey, maybe I want to figure out something else where I can play third base for another team? Do I want to try to convince Alex Cora that I'm a better third baseman and try to go all out, practice, show that I'm a good defensive third baseman? Or is the ship sailed on this? And with the firm stance by Alex Cora in that statement that he gave earlier today, it really left no wiggle room in my opinion. So it's going to be all on Rafi Devers as to how he wants to take that next step. Does he want to keep things internal? Does he want to try to make the best of it, be the face of the franchise, the locker room leader, all that kind of thing? Or does he say, no, man, I'm still a third baseman. My offense is really struggling because you don't have me in the field. Either you play me over there at third base or you figure out another spot for me elsewhere. Does that become an issue as we go through the season? Honestly, I was not expecting Devers to have this poor of a start to the season. Understandably, it's 2 games. I did not expect Alex Cora to say what he said in that pregame scramble as well. And just the declaration with which he said it was very telling there as well. And in comments after the game, he was asked basically about the struggles of Rafi Devers in the first 2 games. Devers was asked the same question as you might expect. Devers basically said, it's 2 games, it's baseball, it happens. You're going to have good games, you're going to have bad, you're going to have performances where you go 0 for 4, you're going to have performances where you go 4 for 4. It all averages out in the end. Basically the comments of what Devers said. Meanwhile, Alex Cora is basically saying, oh yeah, he's struggling with the fastball right now. And just left it. So, what do you think the next question was to Rafi Devers after he said, nah, it's just the beginning of the season, just, shaking off the rust, normal things. Some days you'll be good, some days you'll be bad. It's just the nature of baseball. That next question was, of course, hey, I know you just said it's baseball and you don't really have anything that you think is struggling right now. You just haven't gotten the results there. You think everything else is good. But understanding that that's your belief, your manager just came out and said, you're struggling with the fastball right now. Any comment? Devers was taken aback a little bit by that, the way the reporter phrased the question. He wasn't trying to do a little gotcha thing either. I think he was mainly just being like, dude, your manager just spoke on this and said you're struggling against the fastball. And Devers was kind of bewildered a little bit for just a minute and was able to course correct and give the correct answer, which is basically, well, I still think it's early in the season. We don't need to jump to, any conclusions yet. It's 2 games. We'll make this thing work somewhere. It'll all even out in the end. I'm still a great player. Do I think I should be playing third base? Obviously, I think I'm a great player, but I'll do the best I can. Devers did a nice version of that after the reporter asked the question, but you can tell it kind of shook him for just a second there. So more drama brewing there in Boston. Mookie just walked it off. Jesus. Oh my goodness. He had a home run earlier. 8-5 the final. Wow. Wow. So what did I tell you guys was the problem with the Detroit Tigers? That they didn't have a bullpen. What just happened? Their non-existent bullpen just gave up a game. Sure, it's to the best team in baseball, in my opinion. But 5 runs in the 10th when you take the lead by 2 and you can't slam the door shut. Sure, maybe you'd go about it and just say, forget the runner on second base and just go after and attack that first hitter. And it just doesn't work out. This is a team that needs some bullpen additions. In the video we talked about last night, a lot about bullpens and how a lot of games were given away. A lot of games given away today once again. So we're going to have to see these teams start to act quickly here if their bullpens continue to struggle like they have in the first couple of games of the season here. I think it's going to be a trend in the month of April that we're going to have to pay attention to, how these bullpens are ultimately performing, what solutions are they finding to solve some of the issues that they have, and what are going to be some issues for contending teams as we get closer to the trade deadline, all-star break time of year. 8-5, yes, we just saw that one. Steven, welcome in. Appreciate you joining us once again. You wouldn't read too much into Devers yet. I have Kyle Tucker in my fantasy team, and he hasn't hit yet. True, but you also have a player who's always played third base that had off-season turmoil, not because he changed positions, not because he chose to get off of third base, not because there was a decline in his performance, not because of any other outside factor, a trade or free agent signing or anything like that to himself. It was the Boston Red Sox who went out there and decided to improve their offense first and foremost by signing Alex Bregman. And oh, by the way, he just happens to play the same position as your best hitter. Now, looking at the outside, looking from the outside looking in, you'd have to think this thing would have to figure itself out at one point or another. There's too much talent here for it to not work out, you would think. But I think Bregman getting the starting job there at third base permanently is going to have a little bit of a shock to the system anyway for Rafi Devers. And I do think there's a good chance that he's going to be able to pull out of this tailspin. but he is that good of a hitter. But for the way Alex Cora was so firm in saying he's our primary DH and I will not be playing him over there at third base if Bregman needs a day off, tells me if I'm Rafi Devers that the coach doesn't even want to see if my defense can improve. He's already made his decision. So we'll have to see how things work out for the Red Sox with the Bregman and Devers situation. But kind of a murky start to the season. We'll have to see how the year goes along to see if they kind of course correct. Holly, Luke Jackson had a nice bounce back tonight. He did, but he also got hit hard as well. He got the outs. That's the important thing. But you remember there was one swing that drove the ball all the way to the warning track that pretty much any other part of the ballpark probably would have been a home run outside of dead center field. He's still given up a little bit too much hard contact here, but he was able to get the job done. That's the important thing. I want to see him improve over the next couple of weeks to get to be the pitcher that we saw at times during spring training. Struggled last year to a certain extent with a couple of different teams, and hopefully he's that nice Kirby Yates type of signing this year for the Rangers. Ocean View, Devers looks terrible. Couldn't agree with you more. He looks very uncomfortable at the plate. Looks like he's pressing quite a bit in his new role as a offense-only player now, being transferred over to the DH spot permanently. All right, let me pull up the scores from today and kind of go through a few of those for you guys, catch up on a few different things. Mookie Betts went insane tonight. Couldn't agree with you more, Ocean View. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. That thumbs up at the bottom would really help us out if you wouldn't mind doing that one. All right, so let me get my screen pulled up for you guys. Just kind of go through a couple of these games. Rays get the 3-2 win over the Rockies. Not a bad start for them. They get the last run in the ninth. Again, bullpens are the name of the game so far this season. Jays bounce back nicely, 8-2 victory at home over the Blue Jays. Blue Jays' Charlie Morton did not look very sharp today, gave up 5 runs in that 4th inning. And again, we talked about Bednar coughing things up in the ninth, but the Pirates were able to still hold on to the game, though, over the Marlins. Red Sox and Rangers, well-played game once again. Jack Lieter had a great start today. In fact, I want to pull up his line here, so bear with me. Just want to look at the box score. Josh Young did leave the game with some neck tightness. I imagine they might shut him down for a short-term IL stint if that neck continues to give him some issues. But I do think there's an opportunity to just give him a day or two off to let that neck rest. But Lieter, 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He threw, how many pitches did he throw? 82 pitches. Not a bad start. This would probably be a start where he could have gone 6 innings if we were, say, in the middle of June. But with the start of the season, pitchers still trying to ramp up their arms, they would decide to go ahead and pull the parachute right there. Armstrong was very good when he came in once again. This is his second appearance of the season. Church was a little wild. He looked like the nerves were getting into him. Was kind of leading pitches off to the pitching or to the pitch hand side of the plate anyway. Everything was just running off the plate, running high. He was just a little overexcited for the game. And I think he'll be better going forward. But good for the Rangers to kind of pull the parachute before things got too far down the road there. Gave up a hit and a walk, and then a tough at-bat finally. Got the first out of the inning, and then they went to Hobie Milner, who got out of the bases-loaded jam with a great defensive play by Josh Young. That was the play that injured the neck, or at least re-aggravated the injury for Josh Young on that diving stop there. Webb came in, looked very sharp as well. Luke Jackson gave up a lot of hard contact. That's my worry there. But, he was still able to put up a 0 on the scoreboard. So, overall, nice win for Texas. Lieter had a nice start to his season. I'm curious to see how the other rookie in this rotation, Kumar Rocker, holds things down as well. Other scores from around the league. Mets get their revenge in Game 2 of their season against the Astros, reversing the score from last night. Astros won 3-1 yesterday. Mets win 3-1 today. And Juan Soto gets his first home run as a member of the New York Mets. I do want to check out the numbers here a little bit because I didn't get to check out this game since I was at work. But Paredes 1 for 4. Alvarez still hitless. Got a walk, though. Not a whole lot of offense, as you might expect so far. Cam Smith, though, got a couple of walks, 200 average. Altuve's been good so far, as you might expect. For the Mets, you got the one home run anyway by Juan Soto. Still getting pretty much nothing out of those bottom spots in that lineup right now. Torrens is pretty good, though. Lindor still has hitless so far on the season, but I don't think he'll continue to struggle for too much longer. Good win overall. Pitching, Megill went 5. Reed pitched well. They didn't give up a hit after the 5th inning. That's nice. Houston, meanwhile, pretty good job out of that bullpen. Brown pitched well. 3 runs, 2 earned, 7 strikeouts. That's a pretty good start to the season for Hunter Brown. He's one pitcher I'm watching this season to see how he developed. If he goes to, say, that ace category for the Astros, does that give them the flexibility to let Framber Valdez walk in free agency if his price gets too high? Something to kind of keep an eye on there. All right, let's go back to the scores anyway. Cubs lose again, 1-8 against the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks have a nice bounce back game. Merrill Kelly, nice start there. Tyone, not so great. The A's had a great game today against the Mariners, and what do you know? Mariners couldn't muster any run support. What a surprise. Springs was very good on the mound today for the Athletics as well. Braves and Padres, I believe this was another game that was a late inning game that was decided by the bullpen, and another late inning disaster for the Braves as they cough up the game late there. And then, of course, the final game of the day, Dodgers win 8-5 over the Tigers, with Mookie Betts having a fantastic day. Just how fantastic was he? 3 for 5, 2 home runs for Betts, 9 total bases. He also grounded it into a double play. Somebody got thrown out at home as well. Okay. Torkelson is off to a very nice start for the Tigers. Very happy to see that, honestly. They really needed him to. Colt Keith, not so great so far. Javi Baez, Ohtani looks really good. Dodgers just look really good this year. I just don't see how during the regular season they're going to be stopped from winning that division. They are going to be so good, my friend. Steven, Juan Soto went yard. Yes, he did. Steven, bad job by MLB with the Mets having no game on Sunday. I think these big market teams, pretty much all teams, should have a game on Sunday. I think the NFL does a wise thing by having their games on Sunday and still having product on Mondays, Thursdays, during the year, mixing things up to keep things interesting to the fans. But when you have that much of an audience sitting there waiting for more product, you need to have your best teams out there. And understandably, the final game of the day, you want all the eyes to be on one game as the national product anyway, at least for this coming season or this season, and that's it for now. But overall, I think baseball should have these teams playing every Sunday. You do need to have sometimes or have days off, but I think you can avoid having those days off be on the weekend. Mark, what day does Rocker start in Cincy? I want to say it was the first? I can't remember. Do they still have the probable pitchers on here nowadays? They used to have a page on here called Probable Pitchers. Do they not still have this? I'll have to look into it for the next time, but I want to say it was the 1st of April. All right. In either event, that's one start I'm really looking forward to seeing with you, Mark. David, welcome back. Tired of the Dodgers already? I know there's a lot of fan bases out there that are, but the Dodgers are going to be relevant all year long. And honestly, for the sport of baseball, it's going to be great for the revenue across the league, especially when you're talking about a CBA coming up as well. So I think you want the league to do really well right now to try to convince these owners to avoid having a work stoppage. I do think that we are inevitably going to have one. The question is, how long will it be, and how firm will these owners take the issue of a salary cap? But we shall see. Yankees, they play tomorrow, where they were off today, but they did get the win against the Brewers 4-2 yesterday. All right, appreciate you guys joining us. I haven't heard too much as far as updates on Dylan Cease over the last couple of days. It does sound like the New York Yankees have at least quieted down a little bit on that front. I'm sure they're still placing calls and at least discussing things, but it does sound like the Yankees are at least taking a wait-and-see approach now that we've gotten to the start of the regular season as to how the first couple of weeks go before they really get back into some of those trade discussions. Bellinger back to MVP levels. We'll have to see. It's only been one game. All right. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be live again tomorrow night. We'll probably start a little bit later. I want to wait till most of the games are done tomorrow night. We'll keep doing the MLB Hot Stove Daily pretty much for at least the next week. And then we're going to go to our new schedule, where on Sundays we'll do our sports talk. Mondays we'll do our normal MLB Hot Stove Daily. Tuesday we're going to try to do a game for you guys. Wednesday our Power Rankings show during this broadcast as well. Thursdays, depending on what games there are available when I do get off of work, I will try to do those as well. And then Friday, kind of our weekly recap as to what happened in the world of baseball. All right, appreciate you guys joining us. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe. It's the first game in Cincinnati. Okay, thank you, my friend. Appreciate that, Holly. So that would be, what, the 31st on Monday? What time is that game on Monday? Okay, so they just didn't put a separate page. To be determined for Texas. Tuesday, to be determined. I really wish they had that probable schedule thing. It was so nice. Because I used to use that schedule to base my the games that I would go to see. I'd, of course, look at the promotional calendar, see if there's a bobblehead and whatnot. But, like, for instance, when DeGrom first came to Texas a couple of years ago, I was still doing this channel, but when I went to go with the lady anyway and wanted to go see a baseball game, I tried to do it to where I could actually see DeGrom in a Ranger uniform and say I actually got to see the best Ranger starting pitcher we've ever seen. Understandably, Nolan Ryan's the best, in the history of the Rangers as far as with the team. But DeGrom is probably the most talented, including Nolan Ryan in that conversation. Obviously, Ryan's done a lot more in a Rangers or uniform, but DeGrom is clearly the most talented pitcher the Rangers have ever had. That's not arguable. I really wanted to go out and see him. I wanted to go out there and see Max Scherzer at different times. I did get to catch a Max Scherzer start, and I just like to see baseball get that schedule back up. It was so helpful. Let's see here. All right. Appreciate you guys joining us. Got a work day tomorrow, but again, we'll try to do our live after the final game is gone final tomorrow. Well, I guess it would be today now since it's after midnight, but appreciate you guys spending some time with us. Hit that like, the thumbs up on the bottom of the video goes a long way to helping us out. Y'all have a good one out there. Stay safe, everybody.